Two men had been close friends since their youth. They grew up together, shared simple dreams, and supported each other through the early stages of life. But as time went on, their paths diverged. One of them rose to wealth and success, living in luxury and prestige. The other remained poor, living a modest life and working hard just to get by. One day, the wealthy man decided to host a lavish birthday party in a grand hall. He invited high-profile guests, businessmen, celebrities, and public figures. And among them, he made sure to invite his old friend. The poor man arrived late to the party, having traveled a long distance on his old, worn-out bicycle. At the entrance, the security guards were surprised by his appearance. His simple clothes and tired look stood in sharp contrast to the elegance of the event. They doubted he belonged there, but after he showed his invitation, they let him in. As he entered the glamorous hall, the music softened and all eyes turned to him. His presence stood out, and people began to whisper. Sensing the discomfort, the host stepped forward, smiled warmly, and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is my childhood friend. I am honored to have him here tonight." The poor man smiled, touched by the gesture, but the crowd's reaction quickly turned the moment bitter. Laughter and subtle mockery echoed in the room. Some couldn't believe the host would associate with someone who looked so out of place. Quietly, the poor man found an empty seat at a table surrounded by businessmen, but no one spoke to him or even acknowledged him. Later that evening, guests began presenting their birthday gifts. Luxurious items, some worth tens of thousands of dollars. When it was the poor man's turn, he reached into his pocket and pulled out an old photograph of the two of them from their school days. "This is the only gift I can offer," he said gently. "It holds memories that have no price." The room burst into laughter again. The poor man lowered his head in shame and returned to his seat, feeling humiliated and out of place. But then disaster struck. A fire suddenly broke out in the hall. Panic spread quickly. Guests screamed and rushed to the exits, pushing and trampling over each other. In the chaos, the host fell and broke his leg. He called out for help, but no one stopped. Even those who once called him a friend, business partners and associates ignored his cries. Everyone was focused on saving themselves. Just when he had nearly given up hope, a figure emerged through the smoke. It was his poor friend, who had stayed behind. He lifted the injured man and carried him outside, coughing through the thick smoke, risking his own life to save the one person who had welcomed him moments earlier. Outside, as the host caught his breath and realized what had happened, tears filled his eyes. The same man who had been laughed at and looked down upon was the only one who stayed when it truly mattered. In the days that followed, the wealthy man gathered all the gifts he had received and gave them to his friend. He offered him support, a new home, and a fresh start, not as an act of charity, but as a token of deep respect and gratitude. Moral lesson. In a world that often values wealth over character, true worth is revealed not by what we own, but by what we do when it matters most. The richest hearts are found not in fortune, but in loyalty, courage, and selfless friendship.